full pillow set up with my man Shakespeare right there?
That's a William Shakespeare pillow.
I love that. Hey guys, James Wilson-Taylor here for Roxanne with another of our video calls. We're catching up with everybody while we're all stuck at home. I'm delighted to say from the used, Bert is on the line now. How are you, man?
Very well. How are you?
Good, man. Good to see you. Yeah, I've been kind of starting all of these.
Great to see you.
Great to see you from afar, from a very long distance. Yeah, you're out in Australia right now, right? Of course.
I am. I'm home. Yeah, we just live right outside of Sydney. It's nice and tame down here, virus-wise.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I've kind of been asking everyone, I hope everyone's safe where you are and you're kind of keeping well and everything. All the guys okay in the band as well?
Everyone's doing fine. Just, anxious to get back out there, at least have sort of an idea about when we will. But I think, yeah, all things aside, everyone's feeling very positive.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. Very good to hear. And what a kind of exciting week for you guys. The new album is imminent at the time of recording. It's about to be unleashed on the world. It's very, very exciting.
That's it.
I guess it must feel kind of weird in a way to be doing album release at this point, but I would imagine very happy to be able to have music to put out in a weird time like this.
Yeah, we I know that for me, when I'm down or when there's unknowns in my life, uncertainties, a healthy escape is always such a good thing, such a good outlet to have. For me, brand new music has been key in what, staying sane in this new normal that we're all experiencing together. So yeah, I've been really, really pumped about a lot of new music. And so we feel once again just honored and humbled to be a part of something so cool. I mean, to be in a band and to have made records. This is our 8th real record and 20 years of it now. We're just, man, we feel really grateful, and we're on top of the world.
Oh, it's great to hear, man. I love it when you guys are in such a kind of positive place, and it really came out. We've chatted to you a couple of times, obviously in the mag and online and stuff, around this album and building up to it. One of the things I really took away from one of the quotes you said recently was that you really felt like this record is almost a return to some of the stuff you felt at the beginning of the band. I just wondered, could you expand on that? What was it that made you feel like going back in that way?
Well, I think we just really wanted to get in touch with where the music kind of hits home. And that for us, most of us, I think most humans, we've felt deeply in love with music at a very young age. So to try to remember what that feels like, and without any of the, the modern trappings of the music industry and social media and new ways to market things and what people really look at and think is important. And we wanted to remember what it was like before all that, when it was just about our ears and the song. So yeah, it was a pretty simplistic approach, but I think worthwhile to try to make music that captures that initial sound that we loved, whether it's 80s pop or, brutal hardcore songs and everything in between. Just trying to get in touch with the childlike nature that is the expression of music, I think.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's funny you say that about, it is a very, very diverse record. And I say that in the best possible way. I love that it does almost kind of cherry pick around different aspects of your career. There's some really heavy stuff. There's some really poppy stuff, and it all kind of goes together really well. Talk to me about putting that actually together in the studio, because you're back with John Feldmann as well, which is very, very cool.
Right. We wanted to, like I said, take from every little bit of love that we had for any type of sound. And I think when you get 4 guys in a room, excuse me, that can be a difficult thing if you don't have 4 really, really open minds. I think this approach, everyone's ideas were just as important as everyone else's. And we really came together as a team on this one that collaborate to the point where we would try to finish the demo version of the track, of track everything that was going to be, and essentially the entire song, in that small pocket window of that one day, so we could continue to move on and not have a lot of time to think about the things we did. Just straight from the heart, from the cuff, or however you want to think about it, impulsive. And approaching every day with a different feeling. Like what's the feeling of today, whether that comes from a lyric or a melody or just something that I had in the back of my mind that I've been wanting to write a song about for a really long time. So yeah, I think it's all heads together, just trying to feel like those teenage selves that were just mad for it, you know, like crazy about music. Not that we aren't still crazy, but it's definitely, after doing this professionally for 20 years and seeing the ins and outs of the industry, and not only that, but seeing a lot of really cool, great bands come and go and maybe come again. It's like I said before, it's just an honor to still be doing this. I mean, trapped at home with my two daughters out there, they're probably killing each other, but I feel just really lucky to be part of the world of music. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I'd imagine as well when it gets to a point like this, and it's you know, so many albums deep, and like you say, into a 20-year career. Did you find yourself kind of reflecting a lot more when you're writing this one, and kind of actually looking back? I mean, it must feel like, wow, like you say, we really have achieved a lot in this time.
Yeah, we are the type of band that celebrates our entire catalog, and no matter what's happened within the inner dynamics of the members of the band, we celebrate every moment of it. It wouldn't have been the same thing if it wasn't for the four people involved at each time all along the way, and so much respect for the legacy. I think that some of my favorite artists like to kind of all of their art and their oeuvre, it's kind of combined to this really great world. Stephen King's books all kind of interweave in and out of each other, and I think some of the greatest of the greats are always throwing in little Easter eggs and kind of hidden gems for the hardcore fans. And we have so much fun doing that nowadays. We love symbology and the hidden message. And some of my favorite things you have to really work to get to try to understand. And I like a complicated metaphor a lot. So yeah, I think, and that's also where the diversity of sound comes from. I think that we really tried to match the feeling of what the song was with not only the nuances in the sound and the music of rock and roll, but far outside that range. I think we used is really lucky. We've always been able to kind of play around with different sounds, and our fans understand that we've always tried to push the edge a little bit. But yeah, this one we really tried to go the distance. We all come from such different places musically. It's really cool to not only reflect on all the places we've journeyed along the way, but kind of really try to push the limits of that journey as well. I think this has the heaviest and lightest moments in the Used career so far. This feels really good.
Yeah, no, you should be very proud, man. It definitely feels like that. And you said as well, you know, fan of a big metaphor and all that kind of stuff. Let's talk Paradise Lost, because I love the quote you put out when it was originally released, and saying, obviously it's inspired by the work of John Milton, but it was the quote you said, who doesn't love a failed revolution? That's what kind of grabbed you about that particular piece of writing. Talk to me a bit more about why his work in particular really fed into that track.
That's really what grabbed me about John Milton to begin with, was his depth of knowledge, and him being blind means that he recalled all this references to incredible literature from memory. So what an amazing thing. But his life right before he wrote the poem was involved in this huge revolution against the Church of England, and they won, and they overthrew the king, and it was about 5 years where they started to kind of make changes until their revolution was overthrown, and all of them were either executed or ended up in prison. And I think that him writing a poem about Satan's failed revolution on earth is it's so deep, and it makes my mouth water. It's so juicy, the connections there. And it shows what art is truly capable of. I can you might never ever have any idea what the artist's true intention was unless they let it slip along the way. But it's really how it relates to individuals on a more individual level. And I think that something as basic as getting to know the different sides of yourself, or abusive relationships, those are two universal themes that kind of speak to everyone and play off that Bible story really well. We're not Christians, but we do love an epic. And John Milton trying to put himself up there next to Dante and Homer, I think is just so courageous and incredible.
Yeah.
It was a different world as well back then.
Yeah,
Different
for sure.
different
Crazy.
version of everything. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Really
cool.
fun to think about. They were just through with the Black Plague. They were just through with the real plague of death back then. Like, if you can
Man.
imagine, like 65 years before that poem was written, there were Shakespeare plays that were just being written and performed in theaters while people were dying in the streets. It's just such a crazy world to think about.
God, man, what a weird twist of fate that we're talking now, where there's weird stuff going on
I
outside.
know.
It all kind of comes back. How very strange.
Incredible.
How strange, man. Let's talk about Joey, who of course came on board for this record. You know, it fits really nicely, and I know you've talked about how you know it was easy bringing him into the fold and stuff. I just wondered, when you have a new member coming into the band like that, is there an adjustment period? When does it click in terms of playing together or writing together?
I think that's the point of kind of trying out people and seeing what people, we had people send in videos of them playing a couple songs, but then obviously had a in-person kind of hang and jam through the songs. And I think it has to click right away. It has to be one of those things. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see us playing a show like this. And Feldmann's a tough guy. He's a intimidating presence in the studio. He's just a legend. So how could it not be a bit intimidating? And he took to Joey really well. It was immediate. And Joey stood up. Joey's very motivated. He's driven, and he's great. So those three things, and he's got it.
Yeah, clicked very well, I'm sure. And then, and speaking of working with John and everything again as well, a lot of guests being brought in, little guest musicians here and there through on the record. Let's talk about some of those. You know, you had both Mark and Travis from Blink coming in, obviously friends of yours. How did they end up coming in and playing on a couple of tracks?
When we thought about, we talked beforehand about bringing in guests and actually getting involved in writing with these people, because we've had so much love for the inclusion of other art, and just feels like when somebody else comes in and is allowed to be themselves, it adds some really cool new element to the band, whether it's the lighting guy or music video director. We just want people to do what they do, and hopefully that can kind of be part of the bigger picture and part of the story. So yeah, we wanted to pick the brains of some of the best, and we've had the most incredible experiences ever with Blink on the road. And you know, I've known Travis for so long. Well, Boxcar Racer tour, I think, was like 2003. It's crazy to think back. Yeah, and seeing how those people work, and seeing how their minds work, and everyone who participated in this record, and all these features, they're just some of the most driven people in music nowadays. I guarantee you they haven't stopped just because they're forced to stay inside. They're the type of people who just have to create. It's like therapy and religion and all these things wrapped up into one. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great to see. Great to be able to bring in people like that and then just kind of collab in that way. Speaking of Blink, of course, you know, we know the tour was supposed to be happening in the summer. I know obviously everyone's schedules are kind of all over the place, but when that does eventually happen, that's got to be a nice thing to be able to go out with friends like that on the road.
Oh man, one of the coolest bands to tour with. We've had the best experiences with them. They're seriously down to earth, humble guys, and yeah, massive band. So that's an awesome thing too. I think that that kind of crowds kind of clash. We do well in front of a Blink crowd.
Yeah, that's cool to hear. Yeah,
I hope it happens sooner than later. But who knows? I think that music, to be honest, music will probably, like sports, be the last part of the real world that gets back to normal, because it's literally impossible to social distance at a rock show. And that's, you know, the point of the type of shows we play, especially in the clubs, are to have that intimate, you know, we want to smell the breath and feel the heat of the bodies. So Yeah, it might be a little while, but it will definitely, nothing can stop live music. And, we gotta trust in the experts. I know a lot of people have been saying that, but it's just, I guess it's really easy nowadays in the world of social media to get sucked into some cool sounding nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, it's
You
been
can end up one of these guys.
Man, is that a full pillow? Is that a full pillow set up with my man Shakespeare right there?
That's a William Shakespeare pillow.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah.
This is a gift from a hardcore used fan. So
no way.
If they see this, know that I brought this home with me, and we love it. Oh, it's so comfy.
Man, you could not bring that home. That's an incredible gift. I love that. Very, very cool.
I bring it all home. I kind of hoard all the fan gifts. I have just big boxes of stuff.
That's nice,
it's really
man.
Sweet.
Yeah, you got to keep that stuff. It's very, very sweet. On the live show front, I did just want to say as well, it's funny that the way all these things kind of work out, you're now going to be, hopefully, when, we're hoping everything still goes to plan, but you'll be back for Slam Dunk as well now in September, which is very, very exciting. Yeah, fingers crossed, man.
Let's keep our fingers crossed and try not to be too disappointed about heartbreaks along the way, because I don't know how many of you studied epidemiology or any type of pathology, but we should probably listen to those guys who've been studying it for numbers of years.
100%. It's funny. I was chatting with Ralph from Enter Shikari the other day, and he said something interesting. He was like, because they announced their tour, which is meant to be the end of the year, and he was like, if they have to be rescheduled again, they have to be rescheduled again. But I want to know that at some point there will be dates in the calendar. It's like something to have mentally. Like, yeah, we will get back there.
100%. And then that's a great way to look at it. And we do need to keep our thoughts positive. We need to remember that live music will come back, and even if it's hit pretty hard when it does, I mean, if you can imagine, like, the whole world's been hit by a giant money bomb, and it's just drained everybody, and can't imagine there's going to be a lot of full pockets to go out to rock shows, and bands are also hurt just like regular human beings, and hearts go out to. My wife is at the hospital right now. She's a midwife, so she's not necessarily frontlining it, but she's in there with the best of them, and so our hearts go out to the people who really, really are struggling right now. But I think that we got to be patient, and we got to remember that we're not going anywhere. Live shows aren't going anywhere, and when they do come back, imagine how intense they'll be. Because when you take something away from people, that's when they really want it. That's when it's really important.
Yeah, so true. Those first shows back are going to be absolutely legendary, man. Cannot wait, whenever they may be. But, man, it's really great to chat to you. Album's great. Congrats again. And we hope to see you out on the stage, whenever that may be. And stay safe, and love to all the family and all the rest of the guys as well.
You too. Thanks for all the support always. Rock sounds great to us. So thanks, guys. Thanks to all the hardcore fans, too.
Good stuff. Bye, everybody.